Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about the tech industry, and it looks like a bunch more layoffs are coming for tech and even in AI. Remember when AI was like the magic bullet, like everything was going to be AI, and as long as we pivot to AI, it's all going to be cool. Well, maybe some of these employees are getting laid off because of AI, because they've helped create the system that will eliminate their jobs. I don't know. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this story, which is funny, but not. This is a CEO of a company who, I'm assuming it's a tech company, who CC'd his employees and all of his employees, all the employees across the company, in that there were going to be mass layoffs soon. So everybody kind of had the heads up. And I got to tell you, someone who's been laid off before, they never want you to know that they're going to have layoffs, right? I mean, some people will say, hey, look, if things don't turn around this quarter, we're going to have to do what we got to do, or whatever it is, or give you a few weeks notice. But most companies, they want you there as long as they want you there. And they could know 6 months ahead of time that you're, going to be chopped, but they're going to work you right up until the very end. And I learned this the hard way. I knew layoffs were coming because I had access. One company I worked at had access to the books. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't good. We're having a really bad 6 months. I'm like, this is not good. And I flat out asked the CEO, I said, hey, do I have to worry about my job? Because I've noticed we're not spending as much. I was working in marketing at the time, communications marketing. I'm like, I've noticed that we're not spending as much money, or I'm not allowed to spend money, and you're not paying invoices that are due from 4 or 5 months ago for, advertising or merchandise or whatever it is, tchotchkes for trade shows. Should I be concerned? Because I feel like I should be concerned. And I was kind of patted on the head and told not to worry about it. It was fine. We're going to talk on Monday about all of our marketing plans. Then come Monday, the CEO wasn't there. And I got hauled into HR and given a box. And that was it. A box and some paperwork. And said, yeah, you're laid off. You and 3 dozen other people today. And then next week, we're going to do some more. And, that's how it works. But, we're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo. If you do. No, you won't. She's not here. I'm sorry. Well, I could give you a woohoo. Woohoo. Yeah, see, mine aren't good. Everybody's like, you do the woohoo, Neo. I'm like, I'm not good at the woohoo. I'm not good at the woohoo. So this is clownfishtv.com, news.clownfishtv.com. I'm going to ask you guys to go out there and sign up for the newsletter. You will get notified when we drop new videos, because YouTube is doing a terrible job telling people to watch our new content. They just don't care. YouTube doesn't care. Google doesn't care. And apparently they really don't care, because they're going to be laying a bunch of people off in the AI division. So yeah, 200 jobs cut in the AI division. They said the layoffs come against a backdrop of ongoing discontent over working conditions over the past year. Some contractors sought to organize for better pay and greater transparency. Oh, it never goes well. While others raised concerns about mounting workload pressure, strict time limits, they said, forced them to prioritize speed over accuracy. A group even considered forming a union under the Alphabet Workers Union, but those efforts were allegedly discouraged. Well, you're contractors. I mean, I know in a perfect world, everybody would be unionized to make a lot of money and have to work 2 hours a day. But that's the reality is that's not how it works. And unfortunately, the truth is you're going to probably have to work harder, because you're going to have to compete against machines or people willing to use AI, because some people aren't willing to use AI. Then you're going to have to get the hell out of tech altogether, because the whole thing is, turning into an AI-infused fever dream. But you're going to have to compete against the machine. And you know what happened to John Henry? He won, then he died. It's like I'm just laughing because nervous laughter. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. At least 2 workers claim they have lodged complaints. Reports also highlight significant pay disparity. Contractors employed directly by Global Logic earn between $28 and $32 per hour, while those brought in via third-party agencies were paid $18 to $22. Well, yeah, because the agency has to take a cut. So yeah, this is Global Logic, I guess, is their outsourcing firm. Google's going to rely more on contractors. I think a lot of these companies are going to rely on contractors. It's going to be a gig economy again, Cause it's just, I mean, that's just how it is. Now I'm used to it. I started out freelancing. I worked multiple full-time jobs. Everybody's like, your timeline doesn't make sense. You did all these things. I'm like, you don't understand. I worked like 80 hours a week. Like I had no life for years. And even now I don't have much of a life. Like I'm a chronic workaholic. I am. And I always had I would work a day job and then I would moonlight as a freelancer. And then like on weekends, I'd work as a DJ. And basically the thought of just like sitting around all day and watching television is alien to me. Like I love shows, I love games, whatever, but I have to like schedule time to play games, to watch TV shows, to watch movies. And sometimes it'll be like 2 weeks. Like, okay, in like 2 weeks I can watch a movie because I got all these other things I got to do. That's just how it is for me. It's been that way since I was like 19. Storyboard 18 has it. They said Elon Musk gives ex-AI staff 48 hours to justify their work amid layoffs. So he's not messing around. This is, again, another sign. I think the AI tech bubble is going to burst again. And I think there was a goal, like we had this rebound. I remember a bunch of people were getting laid off 3 years ago, whatever. And it turned out there were a bunch of pampered millennials and they got rid of a bunch of people that were way overpaid. And now they hired a bunch of people for AI. And I think they're like, yeah, we really don't need you. Thank you for helping train the machine. We don't need you anymore. Or they just overhired because AI is like just really fancy computing and not actually artificial intelligence. So Musk told employees on Tuesday afternoon to deliver a one-page report by noon on Thursday. According to an email obtained by CNN, Musk told employees on Tuesday to deliver a one-page report by noon on Thursday. Well, that's a decent amount of time, especially if you use Grok. Each summary must outline accomplishments from the past 4 weeks and set out goals for the coming month. The directive comes just ahead of a scheduled 3-hour all-hands meeting on Wednesday, underscoring the heightened scrutiny facing staff at the company. Well, I had to do it for years, especially when I worked remotely. I had to give a report at the end of every week. What'd you do this week? What are you doing next week? What'd you do for me lately? What am I paying for? Basically is what they're asking. What am I paying for? Send a one-page summary of what you've accomplished in the past 4 weeks and what you intend to accomplish in the next 4 weeks. This is due by noon on Thursday. The move is the latest example of Musk's hands-on approach to monitoring productivity across his businesses. In August of 2024, he demanded staff at X, formerly Twitter, submit a monthly and yearly contribution summary to determine stock and option allocations. I think that's fair. I'm sorry. I think it's fair. I think if you bring more to the company, you should be compensated better. I mean, it's just, During his short-lived stint as advisor to Doge, federal employees received mass emails requiring weekly reports of achievements. Yes, sounds very familiar. With Musk warning that failure to respond would be treated as resignation. He is not the only one who does this. I mean, everybody was like freaking out. I'm like, bitch, this isn't Burger King, okay? This is the government. People at Burger King work harder. No, I'm just saying, I think everybody's so used to, and I saw it all over Reddit. Everybody was so used to just being able to come and go as they please. And I'm like, yeah, you're doing it on taxpayer money, right? You work for any corporation, any private company. They want to know what they're paying for. This is why you have reviews. This is why you have a hierarchy and you have to answer to your superiors because you have to tell them what you're doing. And if they don't understand it, sometimes you can get laid off too. I'm going to be honest, that happens. People are like, I don't know why Bob's here. And then after they lay off Bob, they're like, oh shit, Bob's the one that held everything together and the whole company came apart. But we didn't know because Bob wasn't telling us what Bob was actually doing. That happens too. But speaking of emails, this is what I wanted to get to. I thought this is kind of funny. This comes from Reddit. CEO accidentally CCs everyone for the planned large layoff call with other executives. I don't know what company this is. I'm assuming it's a tech company. We're planning a large organizational change, which will kick off at the end of September. This will probably impact support people. Implementation, we have 6 people running on premises. Who moves where? Project management, we have 12 with 2 probably TAMs and 9 in a slower growth time zone. QA, TSA engineers. We need to plan the communication here to enable people to understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, et cetera. Importantly, figure out a way to ensure the keepers are not feeling unsettled or threatened. Well, I can tell you the truth. As soon as companies start laying off a bunch of people, I feel unsettled and threatened. And I, on more than one occasion, have opted to find another job because I'm like, if they're laying these people off, eventually they're going to lay me off. And that, and they may say, no, that's not happening. And that might be true, but they will lie to your face and tell you, if you ask them point blank, am I getting laid off? Am I in danger of getting laid off? Oh, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Then they'll turn around and lay you off the next week because you asked too many questions. Yeah, I've had that happen. So I'm telling you, if they start laying a bunch of people off, and this is why they don't tell people they're doing layoffs, because people will jump ship on their own. And they might be keepers. They might be people that they wanted to keep. So the CEO accidentally included all to his first email with the HR and other executives in around 10 minutes after he probably realized he tagged the wrong group, and now making false hopes. I'm part of a technical team, so I might be safe. The keeper. CEO doesn't sound like a keeper. Yeah, they rarely are. This actually accidentally happened to me kind of. One time when I was young, I worked for a company, and I had one of the other employees was complaining to me about how they were doing a fundraiser. A company was doing a fundraiser, and she was complaining to me about how the money didn't actually go to the sick kids it was supposed to go to. It was going into the coffers, and then they doled out like 10% or whatever. And I responded to her, but also tagged in my boss, and he was not happy with me. And then I wound up leaving. But that was a whole thing. I learned early on. I was only like maybe 21, 22. Yeah. So this kind of stuff happens, but there we go, guys. I think we're gonna have another tech implosion. That's all I got for you, man. The weekend's gonna be kind of slow. It's all Charlie Kirk firings, right? And that's just not fun. Neither is layoffs if you're on the receiving end. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.